Hello, everyone. My name is John Solomon, and I'm the Vice President and General Manager of ChromeOS at Google. It's a privilege to be at this Canalys forum today, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to so many partners at one time. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge the incredibly tough impact that this pandemic has had. None of us could have imagined the magnitude or the duration of this. And it continues to be a challenge for so many of us at a personal and professional level in so many ways. And I just want to acknowledge that and recognize the incredible challenges you've all had and what you've been able to deliver for customers, for your extended communities throughout this period. It's been incredible, and we greatly respect and really appreciate the way we've been able to work with this ecosystem of partners. So thank you for that. And to Canalys, thank you for providing this opportunity. You know, one of the side benefits, if you like, of this period is we've all learned to operate incredibly efficiently virtually. And I couldn't have imagined a better opportunity to address such a large forum at one time than a virtual situation like this. So what have we learned over this past 18 months? There's some really incredible insights we've gathered around what's happening to technology and what does that mean? What are the implications for us? The way we look at it is there were some fundamental trends happening in the IT landscape, and you're very familiar with these. And these trends were happening at a reasonable pace for many years. Let me give you some specific examples. We all know for 7 or 8 years, this whole phenomena of modernizing applications and moving from data center to either public or private cloud has been going along a pace and actually had been accelerating. Another trend that was happening prior to the pandemic was in the field of education. Increasingly, school districts or national education bodies were looking to ensure that for their future workforce, that students needed to have one-to-one ratio of devices to students. So these trends were happening at a global scale. However, what happened during the pandemic, as we all experienced, was a stochastic shock to the system. In other words, the system had to respond extremely quickly to the environment. And as a result, you saw huge increases in adoption of technologies that allowed for remote access to work, remote access to education. And all of you were a huge part of that. You responded. You were able to meet customers, deliver them services and products, and we all experienced this firsthand. However, what's more interesting right now is what does this mean for the future? And what does the future look like? And what we fundamentally believe is this whole experience of this pandemic of the last 18 months, what it's done is it's brought the future forward. It essentially telescoped a world that we were going to experience in 3 or 4 years to the present. And the situation that we have going forward is much greater adoption of these technologies because they were adopted out of necessity during the pandemic. And now they're here to stay. The genie's out of the bottle, and IT has modernized at a really rapid rate. And the implications of this is that companies are moving to the cloud very, very rapidly than ever before. And you only need to look at the public data being shared by the hyperscale cloud companies, the big, large top tier ones, whether it's Google Cloud or our competitors, or so many companies that are building businesses based on cloud adoption. And in fact, when we talk to customers, they tell us in large majority, more than 80%, tell us that the pandemic rapidly accelerated their adoption of digital communication collaboration tools. It also changed the way they're thinking about the future of work. They increasingly tell us that they expect that distributed work is going to be the way they think about their workforce going forward, not just during a pandemic, but permanently. And as a result of this, when we look across all the verticals we serve, from retail through to public sector, financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, and technology overall, increasing number of companies are adopting Chrome operating system. They're adopting it because it is a technology that is born and designed for a cloud-based architecture, a modern IT stack that is simple to manage, easy to deploy, and really designed for the future. Now, many of these companies, in fact, more than half of them that we engage with, use a combination of web native applications and virtualization. Because as you all know, most companies have a mixture in their application portfolio of legacy applications and modern web-based or cloud-first applications. And so through using virtualization, they're able to have the best of both worlds. They're able to operate very simply at a low cost in the cloud, and then also ensure that their users can get access to whatever applications they need. Now, the impact of this drive has been tremendous growth. According to Canalys, Chrome operating system shipments grew at about 75% in the first half of this year. Now, the PC market was growing strongly during this time, but this is a multiple of that PC market. And Chrome operating system has gone from a low single digit to over 13% of all shipments worldwide in a remarkably short period of time. And many of you have had an integral part of this and have contributed significantly. In terms of our partners, we go to market from a device perspective through our major OEM partners: Acer, HP, Asus, Lenovo, Dell, and Samsung, to name the 6 largest. These are all partners that you're very, very familiar with. And what they've recognized is that Chrome operating system represents a powerful future for computing, and they're investing incrementally in this ecosystem. But as you all know, it's much more than just about the product. Really, there's a virtuous cycle in this system. In other words, it's the product and the surrounding services, applications, and peripherals. And what we're seeing starting to happen is as the market gets larger, more and more application developers, more and more peripheral providers, and service providers are investing in a Chrome-first approach. Many of these application providers, for example, app developers, used to regard Chrome as sort of an afterthought. And what we're seeing more and more is they're really regarding it as a first-class citizen and a place they need to invest early in order to deliver great solutions. This then feeds greater use of these solutions that then brings even more developers and manufacturers into the marketplace. And hence the virtuous cycle and the flywheel really spins up. And we're seeing this happen in a few verticals in particular. One of them that is sort of both a vertical and a horizontal is contact centers. Contact centers, as you're well aware, are widely deployed by almost all industries and commercial enterprises, whether they're large or small, whether they're high tech or relatively basic. And it's an area where companies essentially, touch their customers. And it's an area going through tremendous transformation with the web. And Chrome is being pulled into these opportunities in an increasingly significant way. Now, a great measure of this is looking at the peripheral landscape and seeing how many of these peripherals and manufacturers of peripherals are really investing in this space. A couple of years ago, as I mentioned earlier, Chromebooks and the Chrome operating system was somewhat of an afterthought for this ecosystem. But now what we're seeing, whether it's in the consumer space or the commercial space, is this is a market that these manufacturers have recognized is an incremental growth opportunity. And to give you a specific example, partners who are understanding this are finding a huge opportunity, whether it's in retail or in the commercial channel, to bring a ecosystem together, bring the solutions together, and provide an increased basket to the customer. And this is driving top line growth, but more importantly, profitable revenue, increased profitability. And it's not just the peripherals, it's the services, it's the applications, it's the whole basket. And you can see some of the logos on the right of the program, of the participants in the Works with Chromebook program. This is a program that we've been investing in for quite some time, and it's really got significant momentum recently. Now, I mentioned earlier that cloud was growing, and you hardly need to be reminded of that. But here's a view as we look forward to 2024 of the growth of public and private cloud. And what you can see is, the IT landscape is fundamentally changing. And whether companies are using 100% cloud or more commonly a combination of private and public cloud and both legacy applications and modern applications, what they're seeing is with virtualization, they can get the security and benefits of Chrome operating system, and they can do that at a lower cost, but continue to support their traditional application stack. Now, we've recognized that in order to ensure that our partners are in a good place to be able to support this growth and work with customers, we needed to invest. So the Chrome team here at Google is investing heavily in marketing and sales incentives to help our key partners grow, invest, and be profitable. We're investing in significant demand generation, and hopefully you've seen some of that in your markets. But we will continue to increase our investments in marketing campaigns and make sure we're driving a robust pipeline of opportunities that you could take advantage of. But there's more. We're also doing training and enablement because many of you have spent the last few decades working in an environment and being very successful in a Windows-centric environment. And we've recognized that we need to provide you the right training tools in your teams to ensure that you can be successful in a changing environment where the ecosystem is more about the cloud, more about web-centric applications, and providing customers with the right experience there. So in summary, I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. First of all, Chrome operating system is driving tremendous growth. It is the future of computing, and it is an opportunity that for you to invest and really grow your businesses in a profitable way. And you shouldn't think of it only as the hardware. You should think of it as the total solution, whether depending on which parts of the market you're in. But there's peripherals, there's services, there's applications, there's app modernization. So please take advantage of these opportunities. I understand you have regional breakouts, and there'll be fireside chats there to learn more by region. The future of computing is very bright, and it is changing. And we represent a key part of that future, but we can't do it without you. So we look forward to partnering with you. I want to thank you for your collaboration and trust that you have a very successful set of meetings here that are productive. Thank you so much.